WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
And it's going to be a wild morning on this Monday. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll get into some of the reasons why it might be wild for you out there on the roadways. Can't imagine that it is going to be a fun morning for a lot of you. We'll get into some of that. Hopefully you have had a fantastic weekend. Bobby's back.
Yeah, I am.
And that was I hope, great weekend with the family.
One of the most awesome weekends ever. Yeah, we had all 4 kids under the same roof for a while this weekend, which was awesome. Great time. Went down the shore for a little while. So, yeah, no complaints at all.
That is awesome. That's always nice when you can do that.
I got sad news that my son just left to drive back to Charlotte, which sucks. So I texted my wife. She said, he just left. I said, I'm not crying. You are.
Well, hopefully he's listening.
Oh, yeah, he's absolutely listening.
Hopefully he's listening.
Kyle, drive careful.
2 hands on the wheel.
That's
Kyle.
right. He's on it.
Don't be texting as you drive either.
No,
None of that
he
stuff.
He does not do that, yeah.
Bob's here. Egan's not. Still on suspension. Connor's in Egan's spot. And as you can see, Connor's wearing his Phillies shirt.
Have to. They keep winning.
They keep winning. He keeps wearing it.
Did you wear it yesterday? I hope not.
No.
Good.
He didn't wear it yesterday.
Hope
right.
you washed it.
They didn't win.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't win.
Yeah, they didn't. It was pretty crappy on Saturday, but it was nice that win yesterday. Our 6 a.m. hour sponsor is Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White is here for the pro. Haley is running the YouTube this morning. Youth Pastor Ray Dunn is here this morning, too, which is nice. Always looking well put together.
Yeah,
Ready
he's
to go
looking
this
too
morning?
well put together for what time it is.
No, he's just
That's a red flag.
He's an upstanding Klein College grad.
No one's upstanding at 4 a.m.
He knows
I
what
think
to do.
he went to bed with those clothes on.
I agree.
Yeah.
You think he's like a Scooby-Doo character?
Yeah,
like
I think he's in
the clothes state, but it looks clean. Like it looks like he hasn't. They're not rumpled.
He's a little too clean. Like he needs Connor knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ray would be.
He needs like I don't know. He needs scuffed knees. He needs a black eye. Something.
Scuffed knees.
Like,
Ray,
from sliding.
How do you think he got his job?
Oh, from something. Okay.
Ray,
Yeah,
Ray would be an outstanding low-key criminal.
Yeah, he'd be a good money launderer.
He'd fall under the radar. Everybody would trust
might be
him.
that.
He could be. Might be. Bradford White Water Heaters are here for the pro. Nothing criminal about that. Bradford White Water Heaters give you all the hot water that you need in your home. You will absolutely love them. Connor, Coach is not with us today. You are telling us that there is a morning mind bender because I did not see one on the sheet.
Oh, there is. I just don't trust Bobby to not flip to the back page and check it.
No, he never gets it right, so why do you think he cheats?
Well,
Never
he
done
might
that.
just throw out the wrong answer a bunch so that when he does get an easy one, he looks smart.
Okay.
I don't know, though. I'm not really trusting him too much.
All right.
So here's the morning mind bender for today. A recent survey found that 31% of Americans don't know this about their living situation.
31%.
31% don't know this about their current living situation.
Their address.
What?
Their address.
I think 30% of the country doesn't know their address?
Dude, I think 30% of the country's mouth breathers, minimum.
That's
So
true.
absolutely, I could see someone going, well, I live in that building, but I don't know the street address.
Okay.
I could absolutely see it. I'm going for a wild answer.
You're
I'll
not too
say
far off.
somehow cost, either mortgage, rent.
That's not a bad one. That's not bad at all.
Something like that.
Both good answers.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
yeah, here we
go.
But no.
Was mine close, you said?
Kind of. It was kind of in the same vein. It's who their neighbors are. 31% of Americans could not tell you who any of their neighbors are.
Really?
Yes. I'm assuming, John, you know your neighbor. Well, we know that.
Frank
because-
and Pat.
Yeah.
Frank and Pat are to our left-hand side, and we've got Sandy and Mark to the right.
And Bob plays kickball with all of his neighbors' kids. So
I
I'm guessing
love
he knows
that,
them.
by the way, Bob. I think that's the greatest thing in the world. Kids at play, being out, roughhouse, having fun, playing games, playing in the street.
My
To me, it's
13-year-old
great.
neighbor Ryan had a double and 3 stolen bases in a tournament this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you
Congrats,
got to
Ryan.
keep up on what they're up to.
3 stolen bases is great.
Yeah, he's
Aggressive
gonna be a
base
great
runner.
high school player.
Tell him to call Trey Turner. But
Trey had one yesterday.
Nah,
Nah.
he's due for a bunch more. But hey, if we're going by the 31%, I have no idea who any of my neighbors are. I couldn't tell you the
You know
name
why?
of anybody who
Well,
lives
that's
in
You
my
know why?
building.
Because
right
your
there.
neighbors are not on your phones. You actually have to go talk to someone,
No.
a human being,
No.
and get off of the screen.
It's because I'm in an apartment building.
That's
Like,
even more to know your neighbors.
what am I going to do? Go knock on the door and be like, hey, what's up? I'm
You
Connor.
have a better chance of seeing your neighbors on a daily basis than we do.
Yeah, but I feel like it's
I don't
weirder.
think so.
In a building, you do. You're getting
Well,
on an
I
elevator.
mean-
you're going to your group mailbox. You're
but
you're
you're
walking in a hallway.
No, in a street, you're parking a car, you're getting out, you're on your front lawn, all of that. I think we're outside more to be seen with houses than you are in apartments. It has to be all of a sudden you catch each other.
Yeah, well, in an apartment building. I mean, I lived in an apartment just a couple years ago, and it was. I'd see people at the mailbox. I'd see people in the lobby. See people on the elevator.
Yeah, but I don't talk to those people. It's not like when you see someone out mowing their lawn. You're like, hey, how you doing? How's your day
you
going?
don't say hello to someone if you're at the mailbox.
I give them the nod, the head down nod, the acknowledgement. What's up? How's it going?
Sup?
I know my doorman's name because I see him every day, but the other people in
Carlton?
my building, no. His name's James. Great
I mean,
guy.
think about it. How many times do you get on an elevator and somebody gets on with them and they go to the same floor and it just so happens it's the apartment next to them that the person is? It probably never happened.
No, and
but
I'm not going to
yeah,
be, even
so
if it
that's-
was, I'm not going to be the weirdo that's like, oh, we're neighbors? That's so cool that you live in this, like, there's no
I mean, you
extension
could
to
be
that
more
conversation.
than a head nod. You could be, what's up? How you doing? How you
Every
like
once
it
in a
here?
while, I have like
Whatever.
a light conversation in the elevator, but I'll never ask the person's name.
I get scolded by both of the ladies in my house. Stop talking to people in elevators.
Yeah, you seem like an
understand.
elevator
Don't talk.
Yeah.
Don't like say just to say hello. Like,
I'm on the
hi,
ladies.
how you doing?
I'm on the ladies'
How are
side
you?
on this.
They're like, do not say hello to people on elevators. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be an unfriendly ass.
It's not unfriendly,
Yes,
just
it
a
is.
head nod.
No, you don't have to head nod. Go, good morning, hello, how are you doing?
Maybe a light, how's it
I'm not
going?
asking them. I'm not asking them what floor are you going to? Who are you?
Well, you don't have to.
What
They
are you
hit the
doing?
button.
Just say hello. Be nice to people.
I'm that.
yes.
I mean,
hello.
I
Good
do
morning.
That. I say
how
hello.
are you doing?
How you doing? Passing somebody by.
I always say hello to people. In the
Yeah. But you probably take it to a conversation.
I don't though.
point.
No,
Oh, you
I don't. I
Oh,
say
okay.
hello. I engage.
Oh,
They're
well,
like,
then
why
you-
do you engage, Dad? There's no reason for you to engage.
Why not?
Yeah.
I think it's
I'm with
it's
them.
ignorant not to, Bob. I agree
What's
with
wrong
you.
being friendly.
Be friendly, for God's sake.
I'm politely quiet, friendly quiet.
Hey, if
Okay.
your basement or crawl space smells musty or you've got watermarks on the block walls, you need to get a completely free home inspection from the experts. Call BQ Basements and Concrete because the problem will only get worse if it's ignored. So the Phillies have clawed back into respectability with a winning homestand. A 5-1 homestand. Last week I asked you, could they go over 4.5? Everybody went under. They went 5-1. That's a really nice homestand to get themselves again to one game below 500, which puts them, by the way, 2 games behind last. I got good news and bad news. They're 2 games behind last year's record pace when they had 34 wins and 31 losses at this point last year. But last year they were 9 games out of first. This year they're 8 with a worse record. And last year they were still out of the wild card race by around 7.5 games. Now you're only 1.5 out of that. So that is all the positives, Bob, is that now you go on a 7-game road trip. It's been a house of horrors to go to Arizona. But if you can come home with a winning road trip, you can enter into the biggest week so far of the season. Next week, you play the Braves and the Mets at home. An off day at the beginning and the end of the homestand, a chance to stabilize yourself and then maybe push off and make a run in the National League East.
And the good thing about it is they're playing good baseball. Overall, it's just good baseball. Take away Aaron Nola, you've had really good pitching. A couple of games where you're flirting with no hitters and all that. You've had timely hitting where you get leads. The other team seems to come back a little bit, but you answer the call right away.
Yes.
Which is something that other teams always seem to do against the Phillies this year, but they've reversed that trend. you're getting decent base running. Like they were a little bit aggressive on the bases. What's his name? Marsh made a mistake yesterday on trying to get the third or whatever, which was again stupid. But
he makes a lot of base running mistakes.
But the aggressiveness I like. And Trey Turner, of course, is starting to hit, and Castellanos is still hitting.
He is still going.
Bryce Harper continues to be Bryce Harper. And when you get all those things, it just makes it easier, and it makes it fun. And if the pitching continues to, it doesn't even have to be as good as it's been over the last week. If it just is somewhat of that, yeah, they're playing good baseball, and that's fun to say, and it's fun to watch.
Can I give you some? Connor, I know you've talked about it on the Locked On Phillies podcast.
I'm sure I have.
It's all the things that Nick Castellanos has done this year.
Oh, yeah.
Which is incredible. He is he is just about to get to the halfway point of the amount of games that he played last year. 3 more games, the next 3 games, he'll be at the halfway to the number of games he played last season. Last year, he had 29 walks. He already has 19. He's on pace to strike out more this year, which doesn't make sense to me when you think about it. But his on-base percentage, 50 points higher. His on-base percentage, 50 points higher. His batting average, 50 points higher. His slugging percentage, 110 points higher. Everything is better. Last year, 62 RBI the whole season. He's already at 38. Last year, 13 home runs. He's already at 8. Nick Castellanos has been the guy that they thought they were getting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if the season ended today, he would be in a conversation to get votes for NL MVP. That's how good he's been. He wouldn't win it right now. Like, it's not him. It's probably still Acuna, and there are other options on top of Castellanos. But the fact that you could realistically say he could get a vote for MVP this year after what he did last year is crazy. I mean, he's been so good this year, and of all the guys that have been good at points for the Phillies, he's been the most consistent too. They really need.
He really has been. He has not had a terrible week.
No,
he's had bad games, but not a terrible week. It shocked me though when I looked at the numbers, Bob, and saw a guy that has more. He is on pace to strike out more this year, but we all are complimenting him on his vision at the plate.
Yeah, it's
and
surprising.
That he's not chasing. He is on pace for more strikeouts, but he's so damn productive this year.
He is, and the confidence level that you see from him at the plate this year is polar opposite of what it was last year. I mean, he was flailing, his body was going out to left field while his bat was trying to swing towards right field, whatever it may be. This year, and last year we talked about it all the time, it seemed like he had a 1-2 count as soon as he stepped into the box. This year, it's just different. And even if he gets that dreaded 1-2 count or 0-2, he's fouling balls off. You know, he's seeing pitches so much better. He's just a true threat up there. And he's exactly what we envisioned him right now being when he came over 2 years ago.
And now you think that you got a chance to get things rolling here a little bit with a 7-game road trip. But Arizona, the best record in the National League with the Braves, at 40-25, they are the youngest team with the best batting average. That does not seem in any way possible. We're 65 games in. This is a pretty good sample size, Connor. We're talking about a third of the season is already gone. And this team is one of the best hitting team, the best hitting team in the National League.
Yeah, that's a very good team. If you're asking me, would I rather face the Diamondbacks or the Dodgers? I'm still picking the Diamondbacks. I know what the numbers say right now, but that lineup the Dodgers tried out is ridiculous, and the Phillies handled them well. But it's nice. Like, we've gone kind of through the steps. It's like, can the Phillies pull out of this hole? Okay, they win a couple against the Nationals and sweep the Tigers. Can they beat a good team in a series? Okay, they do that against the Dodgers. Now, can you go on the road and beat a good team in a series? It's a nice little progression of how back is this team.
Well, you're beating the bullpen games are a little bit of a... When you're winning the versus bullpen games.
Doesn't matter. Does Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy still play on that other team?
You know what you're not going to have in the playoffs? If you play one of these teams when it really counts, you're not going to have the Dodgers playing bullpen games.
I mean, the Phillies threw Noah Syndergaard for like 3 innings in a playoff game last year. You never know.
I don't think the Dodgers are going to be doing that anytime soon. But
I can't stand the bullpen games.
I hate it.
I mean, if other teams want to throw it at you, okay, great.
I love it. Yeah, do it all day.
They thought they could win with it too, and they could have. They could have. That's a nice weekend though. Phillies will try to improve their 9 games under 500 on the road, and only one team in the National League is worse than them on the road, and that is the Colorado Rockies. So that's got to turn around. Winning at Chase Field, not easy. We'll get into some of those numbers a little bit later on. And Arizona, of course, rolls in. The 2 teams you're playing on the road trip are rolling in red hot. Arizona winners of 5 in a row. And the Oakland A's, who were just on an epic pace of being terrible, helped the Phillies out this weekend by sweeping the Brewers in Milwaukee. So they've won 5 in a row. So now that helped the Phillies get back into the wild card race big time. So that's what we're going to see to improve on this week a little bit.
Yeah, when you talk about road games, to me, you brought up the bad record that the Phillies have. To me, it's pitching. It's always pitching. What travels, what doesn't, pitching travels. I hate that they're going to a bullpen game tonight. I would have loved to have heard, they called up, I don't know, McGarry, and he's already out in Arizona. We sent him yesterday, and he's out there waiting for it starts it off poorly. And now tomorrow you're going to be hindered on how much bullpen you can use, and it's just going to carry over and carry over and carry over. And bad way to start a road trip.
Especially
like
a Diamondbacks team that is going to work your lineup.
Yeah,
they're going to work that lineup and drag things down a little bit. We have a major announcement coming for you later on in the show today, sometime in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll get it out there. Yeah, and it's good news too. Very, very good news, and we hope that you will enjoy it. So stick around for that coming up a little bit later.
And real quick, for people questioning, Pat is not suspended. John was just kidding. He's just on vacation.
Is that
right?
Is that what we're saying?
He might be a
lot of people
suspended.
are asking, saying, really? He's suspended? What did he do? And I don't want to.
He's on double secret probation.
Well, he can be on probation, which he has been since I've been here.
I'm just saying. If Pat wants
unless you got different news than I do.
If Pat wants to be the international man of mystery, then I can only go by rumors and innuendo.
All right,
Pat's the one doing. Pat's the one making this an issue.
Yeah, he had the chance to control the narrative.
No one is making this an issue, but Pat.
Right,
Pat has made this an issue.
Let me say it differently. I didn't know. I don't know of a suspension, but you have announced that, so I will just say I don't know of a suspension.
I'm hearing about it. Pat's the one that's made this an issue.
Yes, he has.
Not me. No one else.
International man of mystery.
It's got to be Pat. Yeah. Pat's got to make everything complicated. It's just who he is. He is Roman Roy. He absolutely is Roman Roy, and you don't get the reference, Bob, but after you watch Succession, you will understand that Pat is Roman.
Okay.
Yeah. The I-95 collapse, I keep hearing people talking about a lot of, oh my gosh, it's going to take 4 years to fix. This is going to be crazy. Let me give you the heads up. I lived through this once before down in Atlanta when the main drag, 8575, the connector through downtown Atlanta, collapsed due to a fire where it started underneath the roadway and it collapsed down onto it. It took the city, which Atlanta moves at two paces, slow and slower. And in the South, by the way, don't piss off a Southerner, because if you think they're not moving fast enough for you, Yankee, they're going to move slower. Everybody thought it would take 6 months to fix it because it was a gigantic mess. It took 44 days to fix. The feds swooped in, and the contractors were motivated. What is going to happen? They are going to put every resource they can throw at this thing. They're going to give the guys who do the construction work incentives that if they get it done faster, they get bonus money. They're going to work like you've never seen them work before. And I will put it this way. Today is June the 12th. I believe by August, when we come in here on August the 14th, I-95 will be open. Fixed and open. They will throw every resource at this, and you will see motivated workers doing road work. They'll be working round the clock and so efficient, unlike anything we ever see. August 14th, circled on your calendar. You'll be able to take it in the morning.
I will take the over.
Okay, you took the over. August 14th is the date.
How did you come up with that? August 14th?
Because I saw them do it.
I know, but you
That's well, today's the June 12th. So I will tell you that in it's 9 weeks from today, there will be 9 weeks from today is August the 14th. They will have this fixed for the morning rush hour. Put it on there because they're going to pay these people. They're going to say if you get the job done in 60 days, we'll pay you a 10% bump, 15% bump. You will never see road work that is done more efficiently than this will be done.
Well, what was popular on Twitter this weekend in Holland or something? There, Australia, whatever. They built a bridge in a weekend. Or a tunnel
there's
in a
some
weekend
video
where they
that's
moved
existed of like a time lapse
Yeah,
of
I
them
know,
building
that's
a
nuts.
bridge.
Governor DeSantis got the bridge fixed after the hurricane in 3 days. They replaced an entire collapsed bridge. Half of the bridge collapsed. They fixed it in 3 days. It can happen.
How about if you just put up barriers, dump a bunch of dirt in there,
And make it like
pack
a roadway?
down?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean,
Bob could be an engineer.
do it.
That's
He really
smart.
could. All right, coming up, a major problem for the Sixers that I think no one's thinking about as we go to Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. We'll get to it next. John Kincade.
Alexa at 975thefanatic.com, the Fanatic app, and now on Odyssey. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Have you checked out Colonel Season's popcorn seasoning yet? Turn up the flavor on popcorn. Add interesting with Colonel Seasons today, available in the popcorn aisle. Did you see what happened at the Miami Heat game the other night at halftime?
Oh, yeah, the mascot?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, with Conor McGregor?
Yeah, Conor McGregor comes out, and the Bernie, the mascot of the Heat, comes out to do a routine with him wearing boxing gloves, gold, gigantic boxing gloves. Conor McGregor was supposed to go out there and do this skit and knock the guy down. And he was
did.
going to fall. He literally punched him for real and then punched him again on the ground. He then had to be taken unconscious off the court. Conor McGregor is such an a-hole. He is such an ignorant ass. I swear. He punches the guy. He is out on the ground. They have to drag him off the court. Now, here's the good news for Bernie the mascot. There is no waiver of responsibility. He can sue Conor McGregor's backside, and now it's up to a judge. He takes it in front of a judge. He's winning the case. That was ignorant. He had no reason to punch the guy like that. He's punching a mascot. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he is thinking at that point.
I don't think he was thinking.
Well, he's probably drunk or impaired. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
In some way. Yes.
Throwing stuff out there.
Yes, I believe he's
drinking his whiskey.
Why would he do that?
Because he's an MMA fighter and he doesn't know how to hit somebody softly? I don't know.
He wound up, man.
He took a wind up.
Yeah, I know.
That was bad.
Yeah.
I hope Bernie the mascot owns one of his houses. In fact, his Miami house. Conor could just sign over the house in Miami. His Miami Beach condo. Sign it over to Bernie the mascot. We call it even. No more legal problems. Just what do you have to be? Why are you such a jackass, Conor McGregor? Why is he so socially awkward and such a jerk to people?
I think you're being a little bit hard on him in this instance.
What?
Why?
What do you think the lead into that skit was?
I'm sure it was that, but he took it too far.
But he took it too far. He punched him full on.
He probably asked them, how hard can I hit this guy? Because he's in a mascot suit. And someone probably gave him a general answer of not too hard, but you can full swing or whatever. And it's just, how are you supposed to know as an MMA fighter how hard you can hit a guy in a huge
It's
foam
a fake fight.
No, I get
Just
it.
pretend.
Listen, that is the risk you run by saying that on a court you're going to want Conor McGregor to punch somebody. That's the risk you run.
No, he didn't want that. You're doing a skit with a mascot.
I understand. Think back to prime Mike Tyson. I don't care if it's a skit. Would you want prime Mike Tyson to hit you, even if you tell him, hey, don't hit him that hard?
You know, he's got a little bit of a point here in that what was Miami thinking in asking him to do this?
Well, they thought he would have the emotional maturity to understand it's a freaking skit with a mascot.
Do you think Conor McGregor...
You don't have to punch him. You don't have to wind up and punch the mascot like that.
What are the hints that let you believe that Conor McGregor would be, okay,
I understand.
yeah, I'm okay with that?
And then punch him again.
That's like the people who wrestle bears and get upset that the bear mauls them. It's like, yeah, it's probably the bear's fault.
You
but
don't
still.
have a skit with the mask. You don't have a skit with the mascot. It's not like a bear. You don't have a skit with a bear.
Semi-pro, they had a skit with a bear.
Yeah, but the bear wasn't involved in it as far as having a say in what goes down.
Yeah, I got you.
God's sake.
I just think
So
you're
ridiculous.
opening yourself up for a situation like that when you decide Conor McGregor punching somebody is a good idea.
Well, Conor McGregor is if the quicker he's bankrupted by one of these people, the next bar that he destroys, the next hotel that he trashes, the next person that he punches, that'll be good. That'll be good for me. Just start taking stuff from him. You know, make him pay, make him bleed. Maybe he'll grow up at some point. Or his whiskey will be a little less, maybe whiskey.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Could be hey, a major problem for the Sixers you haven't even thought of. Miami tonight is in the finals again. They have a Game 5 tonight where on my Bet Parks app, I'm hoping the Miami Heat go down in Game 5. But question I've got for you. Miami's got roster flexibility, money to spend, and South Beach to allure players. This doesn't look good. Oh, and not to mention Spoelstra, one of the coaches in the NBA to lure people to come and play for him, too. This is one of the byproducts of the 8-seed Miami Heat making it to Game 5 of the NBA Finals. They're going to be loaded up, and players want to come there anyway to Miami. This gives another team obstacle in the way of the Sixers in the East. And I considered Milwaukee, Boston as the top two that you'd concern yourself with.
And the scarier thing is that the way Miami develops undrafted, low-drafted, second-round players all the time. You know, stars wanting to go there, great. Jimmy Butler's there, great. Name his surrounding players. I mean, Bam Adebayo's a nice player, but no one looks at him as a number two. You got 38-year-old Kyle Lowry roaming around complaining to refs all the time and doing what he does. It's just an atmosphere, an organization, a culture that it seems like no matter who goes there, whether you're a star, undrafted, second rounder, you get the best out of that player. And that's the scariest thing to me. All the things you mentioned are absolutely right, John. They have some money. They have players they can deal, all those things. But it's scary how a winning organization is run down there. And it's probably on the back of your list behind, as you said, Milwaukee and Boston.
And the question is how long till Joel Embiid gets tried to get lured there by his friend, Jimmy Butler?
Oh, I imagine he's already trying to lure Joel Embiid down there. The guys talk a bunch. I'm sure they're tight.
I think Spoelstra would be driven crazy by Joel Embiid.
Why?
Think because of the fact that Eric Spoelstra gets on all his players about, he had the press conference the other day. He goes, we practice relentlessly. We plan relentlessly. And he says, and I want everybody present and here, available. So we do everything in there possible to make everybody present and available and here. He's a relentless coach. Joel Embiid has been treated with kid gloves.
Yeah, but him being treated that way by the organization doesn't mean he can't handle harder coaching. Like, I don't see Joel Embiid as a guy who's not coachable.
I'm there with you. I think it might be an eye-opening thing for Joel Embiid if he went there and was like, oh, this is how it goes. You teach a big man how to pass a little bit better or how to become a better team, air quotes, player. I don't know. I think Joel Embiid might go there and just be maybe not MVP numbers,
everything we
but
wanted
pretty
him to be.
Damn good. Yeah. I mean, Jimmy Butler missed 18 games this year. It's not like he's not like, Joel Embiid played that many games also. They're there. I wonder if Joel Embiid would love that kind of an atmosphere. Like, hey, I'll give up the individual numbers if I can go and win and be part of a team.
See, I think the individual stuff is what drives him, not the team stuff.
Maybe. But
that MVP
maybe now
speech,
that he got that.
That
MVP
now, speech just ended, by the way.
Maybe now that he got his MVP, he's more of, okay, I want to win.
Yeah, he just got done that speech for winning the MVP. I think it just finished. Thanking everybody and what it means to him, and let's bring the whole family out. It's, I think the personal stuff is what was driving him. Now, the team stuff. I mean, at some point, he's 30?
Almost.
This stuff shouldn't be
29.
This stuff shouldn't be 29. Learning at 29 and 20 and 30 years old how to do all these things. They need him to do it now in a big way. I'm not sensing by the time you're 30 then you're changing.
As a basketball player or as a person?
As a player, the drive, the fight, the fire.
I mean,
the relentlessness. He hasn't shown it.
People redefine their games at different parts of their career all the time. Like, I don't think he's necessarily going to unlock like a new part of it, but does he become a different player as he ages that becomes maybe easier for his teammates to play with? I don't know. Like, I don't think he's beyond saving. Like, that Joel Embiid now, the only thing for him to do is just decline.
It's being who he is. He going to be a different player? I don't believe he can be a different player. I believe we've seen exactly who he is and exactly who he will be.
If you bring a coach in with a different system, will he not adhere to that? I talked to some people in the NBA last week asking them about Embiid particularly. And one of them had a really good point and said, look, he's a great player and you can win with him, but not the way that they play with him now. Can Nick Nurse come in and make him more of a team-oriented offense where he passes the ball better, where he sees the defenses better? They're still trying to dribble through a double team. That's still no good. Spin dribbles when a double is coming. How do you not know that? That's still not very good. As I've talked about endlessly, his power game still isn't up to snuff. I don't know, John. You make a good point. It's fascinating talk.
And
can
people
you win
say,
with him?
can you win with Joel Embiid? You can't answer that with a yes because you've won nothing with him. You've won nothing. You've won meaningless first-round series, which any team in the National Basketball Association does that. Wins first-round series. If you don't, you aren't a contender to begin with. To not get to a conference finals in 23 seasons, that's ridiculously poor. So you can't say, yes, you can win with Joel Embiid because you can't prove it.
Well, here's the thing that I argue with people about. People say to me, oh, Embiid's a loser. I don't think he's a loser.
I don't think so either.
He hasn't proven to be a winner yet.
That's the fact.
And that's it. So, Jordan didn't win until his 8th year, and you can go back in history, who wins when. That's fine. And maybe if they had gotten over that 4-minute hump in Game 6 against Boston, we'd be talking about the Sixers being in the finals right now, and Joel Embiid may have overcome exactly what we're talking about. But until he does, it's fair to talk about. It just is.
Hey, Bob in Cooney's Corner wants to talk about something that's fair to talk about with Rob Thompson.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
As I was saying earlier, they're playing really good baseball right now, and it's fun to watch, and you're getting pitching, and the hitting from the players you needed it from is starting to come around. But then yesterday, I'm watching the game, and something happens, and my mother-in-law starts yelling out loud because she's a huge Phillies fan, and I'll have to say this for the record, that she was right, and that pains me to say that my mother-in-law was right. Why are you taking out Taijuan Walker so early in the game?
Captain Hook.
He is.
He's Captain Hook.
I worry about Rob Thompson just overthinking things sometimes, and yesterday was an example. Just let it go. And so I said to myself, my mother-in-law says that, and I said, okay, well, there's pitches that he's thrown, because she was saying, it's only the 5th inning, whatever, and he's going good. And I said, well, it might be up to a lot of pitches. He wasn't. He wasn't. 80-plus pitches. I don't know. And it worked out yesterday. They won the game. That's all well and good. And if you want to go back to last year and say, look, at the end of the year, Nola and Wheeler, they were struggling, and you had to shut down Wheeler for a little while because they were tired and all that. Okay. Taijuan Walker is an innings eater, and he was eating innings yesterday. And for some reason, you decided to take the plate away from him and say you're not eating anymore.
Because it's Rob Thompson. It's who he is.
And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, ooh, and tomorrow's a bullpen game. Why are you taking him out early when you have a bullpen game tomorrow? If anything, overuse him and use. I don't know. I'm starting to my vision of this team. While before it was Trey Turner and JT Realmuto and whoever else, Kyle Schwarber not hitting anything but home runs. While my attention was all there before when they got to 6 games under 500, now my vision's starting to go to the manager and saying, all right, dude, are we thinking this out properly?
He's not.
Now, Connor, he gets pulled in the 5th inning. You have a bullpen game today. You're talking about, I believe it was 83. I don't have the box score in front of me. 83, 85 pitches. Am I wrong here?
No. I didn't love the decision to take Walker out of that game when they did. The only thing that I think about when I look at the way the season has gone, yes, recency bias says the starting pitching has been really good lately, and you could use them to eat innings. But we also talk about it mostly with Aaron Nola, but we talk about it in general, about how the wheels can come off fast for some of these starters. And the starting pitching over the course of the season hasn't been as consistent as the bullpen's been. So if Rob Thompson's looking at it like, yeah, Taijuan Walker looks good now, but who do I trust more? A sixth inning of Taijuan Walker or a first inning of one of my top 4 guys out of the pen? He may still have more faith in the bullpen because of the struggles from the starting pitching so far this year.
That's managing scared.
That's
managing scared.
I'm not saying that's the right way to handle it. I'm just trying to say what the thought process would be to pull him at that point.
So think about it. You have a bullpen game today, and he had to know that.
Right. Yeah, for
and
sure.
Now you're without Soto, Dominguez, Alvarado, and Kimbrel.
Listen,
I mean,
you're right.
What are we talking about? Not only did he use 4 members of his bullpen because he had an early hook, he used probably his 4 best members of his bullpen.
This is who he is. Rob Thompson, despite the fact that they got to the World Series last year, he made a lot of really maddening decisions, including one that I think potentially lost you Game 6 of the World Series.
Well, definitely.
Was it? Well, no, because they still might not have won that game.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was okay. I don't mean it definitely lost because you can't say that was definitely
a terrible
wrong decision in the biggest spot of the season.
Yeah, it was terrible. But we'll see. We'll see if they can.
I don't know. I just like a manager to me is almost comparable to a referee, an umpire. The less I see of them or think about them, the better.
Captain Hook.
And then yesterday when I saw that, I like, oh, really?
My gosh.
Really? And then he goes to Alvarado in the 8th inning when they're up 7-2.
There was no reason for it.
And he throws 30-plus pitches.
There's no reason for it.
Yeah, that was...
My gosh.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
That wasn't good yesterday, Connor.
I'm not going to debate that at all. I don't think that Rob Thompson's strength at all is bullpen management.
Let's bring back Dancing on Their Own. Let's do it.
What are we doing about the song? They've won 7 of their last 8.
Got to bring it back? Let's bring it back.
Walker's been unbelievably good lately.
Gosh.
His numbers have been terrific.
He's a good pitcher.
He is. And if pitching starts to roll into form, and you've gotten it from most of the guys except, Nola had another bad outing on Saturday, this could be fun to watch.
Let's hope it keeps rolling. And into Arizona, where it's been a house of horrors for the Phillies. We'll talk about some of those numbers coming up. Coming up in the next hour, I believe that there is some strange reporting going on in town. Bob's been a reporter, columnist. He'll tell us where the balance is or isn't. But DeVonta Smith was center stage. We'll talk about why next. John Kincade Show on 97.5.
Beasley Media Group Station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Major announcement coming up in the next hour that has a chance for you to rub elbows with us. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Colonel Season's Popcorn Seasoning lets you turn up the flavor on your popcorn. So add interesting with Colonel Seasons today, available in the popcorn aisle. I saw at the Giant in Exton. I saw what I guess they would call the popcorn aisle.
Oh, nice. It's like popcorn and pretzels and stuff down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's popcorn, pretzels, it's microwave popcorn, it's bagged popcorn.
In my place, it's called snacks.
Yeah, but the funny thing is a lot of places don't have the chips there, too. The chips will be a different aisle, but they'll have like the crackers in the same aisle as the popcorn and the pretzels.
Popcorn in the cracker aisle. That's the way it was here.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we went shopping and I specifically looked for it in the snacks aisle.
You
And
had
there
it in the
was lots
snacks
of
aisle?
popcorn there, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But I have a case of popcorn at the house, so I didn't need more popcorn.
So you've
But
got
I
a
do
case
need-
of popcorn?
Well, yeah, a huge box of, 50 bags or whatever?
Okay, so the
something like that.
microwave bags.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Coach's microwave popper the other day. The $12 one that was on. Jamie was buying it on an Amazon daily deal or whatever it is for like $12.99.
So wait, I missed this. I wasn't here.
It's
What
a great
happened?
air pop. It's an air popper you put in your microwave,
Oh, yeah?
and you put the popcorn, but you can't put the microwave popcorn bag in one of these things.
Yeah, you got to
You put
the
fresh kernels in, a little olive oil, and you can put seasonings in it too. So when it percolates, is that what one of those air poppers
We
does?
can go with percolate.
Yeah.
Percolates.
Yeah.
It takes these thing and it spreads it all across the popcorn evenly.
Interesting. Now, when we were kids, Connor, you probably never did this. We would get the bottles of kernels,
Okay.
Okay.
and you would get a
Orville Redenbacher.
big pot like you would make sauce in today or gravy, whatever your choice is. And so you'd put some oil in there and you'd heat it up, and then you take one kernel of the popcorn and put it in there. And when it popped, that meant it was ready to put the whole thing in.
Then you pour it all in.
And then you have to keep shaking it
Right.
as you have it in there so it doesn't burn.
I never did that, but I did the Jiffy Pop.
You did do Jiffy Pop.
Jiffy
yeah.
Pop was cool.
Yeah,
I
where
love
it's
that.
got the little
Spiral.
tin on it.
Yeah,
you shake it up. And
that wasn't
I
bad.
always
love
was afraid it was going to explode. Like it would get to it would start to expand. I was
hoping it would explode.
Oh,
Like,
my
I
God.
thought that would have been
Everywhere.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
We'll have we have news to share with you coming up, and I think it'll be good and a chance for you to hang out with us and all the station at 97.5 The Fanatic. But DeVonta Smith has become a franchise fixture. He's entering season 3. He is wildly underpaid compared to his production. But when you're a rookie, you get a 4-year contract with the 5th-year option that the team has to decide to exercise. So he's a little while off from getting a new contract. Or is he? I think DeVonta Smith now looks like the typical Howie Roseman extension target at some point here during year 3. They have the opportunity to use a 5th-year option on him anyway. So this is only year 3. They don't have to do it. But I think DeVonta Smith seems like the kind of guy that would be the perfect extension candidate to be able to get him cheaper now when you're not due to pay him. They're not due to pay him for another 3 seasons. Now this year, I'm talking about playing him during this year. I think it could be to the benefit of the Eagles to consider extending him. I'm looking at other players. I don't know who they're going to extend of the young players. He's the one you'd go after.
To the benefit of the Eagles. So if I'm DeVonta Smith's agent,
Right.
I think I'm saying, I want it to be to the benefit of DeVonta Smith.
So you're saying wait?
It's hard to say that, especially in football, where time is not on your side ever when you start lacing them up in the NFL. So getting your money when you can, signing when you can, is most beneficial. It's an interesting thought that you came up with, and I'm sure the Eagles are on that also. It wouldn't surprise me if midseason we heard, and today DeVonta Smith signed an extension.
Because I don't think of, I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, who are the young players that you'd be looking to extend? Because right now you've got people locked up.
Maybe Landon Dickerson.
That was a name that came to my mind.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Other than him, I don't know.
And Landon Dickerson hasn't even had 2 years as a starter.
Right.
DeVonta Smith has had 2 years starting. He's been exceptional. Landon Dickerson's a Pro Bowler, so he outplayed his contract also.
Yeah, I do also think there's an argument to be made that part of the reason Landon Dickerson was in the Pro Bowl last year is the strength of that whole unit.
Okay.
Like DeVonta Smith is much easier to see on an individual basis how he affects the game. Landon Dickerson, it feels like, not to take anything away from him, but it's got to be easier than being on an average offensive line when you have Jason Kelce next to you.
Well, and that counts for Jason Kelce then, too.
Absolutely, it does.
So all of them, are any of them as good as we think they are?
Oh, I mean, I think they're as good as we think they are. I just say it's harder to see the individual basis. Like Smitty stands out a lot more than Landon Dickerson to me.
Sure.
But
I don't think many other names,
Smitty?
though.
Yeah.
That's really nice. You don't have Smitty basis now?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm a nicknames guy. What's wrong? So anti-nicknames.
I've never heard anybody call him Smitty.
I mean, you're giving him a nickname. That's not his given nickname. I've never heard anybody refer to him as Smitty.
He's
last
Slim.
name's Smith. You can call anyone last name
He's
Smith.
Slim or Slim Reaper is what I've heard him called.
Call him whatever you like as long as you keep catching
Smitty?
touchdowns. But that's a point, John, the whole Slim Reaper
Bring back
thing.
dancing on my own.
All right.
Let's do it.
But what Bob was talking about with his agent, yeah, sure, you wanted to make as much money as possible, so why go early extension if you think there's going to be a lot more production and more wide receiver contracts signed? But if I'm also a sports agent that can bench press my client because he weighs 120 pounds, I'd probably want to get that guy paid a little bit earlier than your average wide receiver.
So his DeVonta Smith had at the Iron Pig Stadium, had his celebrity softball game this weekend, and friends of ours went up. They said that there was 8 errors in one inning. 8 in one at bat. That Saquon Barkley looked like he's never played a sport other than football. Any ball hit to Saquon Barkley, he could not field.
Listen, softball isn't as easy as people think it is.
Saquon struck out also,
There were supposedly 8 errors in one half inning. Like nobody could field a softball. Like you think these guys, great athletes, could do nothing. They said Saquon looked terrible. They'd take him out. He struck out.
Listen, football has a lot of athletes, but there are a lot of guys who play football that don't have what coaches would call ball skills.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of positions that you don't have to do a certain amount of things.
Okay. More specialized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doesn't make them not athletes.
7 o'clock hour, the John Kincade Show is brought to you by the all-new Bet Parks app. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And Saquon, by the way, talking to the media at the DeVonta Smith charity softball game, very pissed off about his contract. I love it.
Oh, he's not signing
franchised.
it. Yeah.
He's not signing? And there's just discord. It's great. The Giants heading into a season with some discord.
Yeah, at least they locked up the guy who trips over the 20-yard line, though.
Yeah, Danny Dimes. They got that one, too. So this is one where I have to check with Bob because the 76ers' new arena project faced a protest this weekend. But they also are facing a local press corps that I believe is bombarding the public with one-sided coverage of the event of the Sixers wanting a new downtown stadium. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to read off to you headlines from the Inquirer, and I am not counting anyone who had an opinion piece. Because if you write into the Inquirer and you write an op-ed as a layperson, Connor Thomas writes this out. They had one on April 8th, for instance. Chinatown and a new Sixers arena can each peacefully coexist. So they got that as one. Here are the other headlines from the Philadelphia Inquirer about the Sixers' new arena proposal. Does Philly really need a new arena on East Market? Sixers' new arena proposal will demolish part of the Fashion District in Philadelphia. On the Sixers arena proposal should not be a zero-sum game. Sixers arena proposal on Chinatown impact development funding answering readers' questions. Go read that one from April 11th. They hate it. Everything was, this is going to be crappy for everybody. The off track, the Sixers' new arena at 11th and Margaret will compromise Jefferson Station. Then they wrote a piece about, I finally found a positive one. Now, I don't know if this is all that SEOM stuff that prioritizes the negative messaging on it or not, but the African-American clergy members came out in big support of this project, citing jobs, citing academics, citing that citing that this will help their communities. And even in that piece, if you go read it from March 23rd, there's that they're overlooking all the negatives that it's going to bring to their community. Bob, I'm telling you, I think the coverage of this story has been absolutely slanted from the biggest newspaper in town. Now, the Daily News, I haven't read any coverage from the Daily News, so I can't comment on that, where it's been. But just going down, if I go back to March, it is a 90% almost negative headline stories that are not op-eds.
Well, you read some headlines there. I'd have to read into the stories that you...
And they're all there. You can go read them all.
Yeah, I don't go by headlines so much as people are pointing out a lot of negatives to it. You have Edelman and his staff that are saying, no, it can be a positive. But when it first came out, there was people here that were against it. Like, I don't think you were for it right
I'm not
away.
totally for it. I mean, I
Right.
haven't decided yet.
Right.
I honestly have not decided yet. But I am going to look at it objectively and listen to both sides.
I'll tell you who's putting the news out there is the people that are against it. They're the ones that are putting the news out there. They are the ones that are having these demonstrations. They are the ones that are proposing what is bad about it. Edelman and company have been very low-key on what the positives are. So what's overpowering the news is, wow, here's another thing against it. Wow, here's another thing against it. You're kind of being overburdened with what's against it, and you're not being told so much how great it can be for what reasons. Now, here's a perfect example. One of the things you said or sent, or rather last night was somebody said that there was thousands of people there.
This is what the headline was. Thousands march against Sixers Arena on edge of Philly's Chinatown.
But if you read the story,
and it's false.
If you read the story, in the story that had that headline, it said organizers said there were thousands.
Then why would you have it as the bold headline online and in print?
Police, they could be making fun of organizers.
I think they're trying to make it seem.
I didn't see the headline. I only saw in the story that it said that organizers said there were thousands.
And then the police said 500 to 700.
Right, yeah.
Thousands march against Sixers Arena on edge of Philly's Chinatown. And they show a picture, too, where it really is like around, I'd say 10, 12 people wide, and a large grouping of people. And the police say 500 to 700 people. And it was thousands march against the Sixers Arena. Then, online, they changed it to 1,000. 1,000 march. They actually took an S off of it.
Well, maybe someone accidentally put the extra S on there. Who knows?
No,
the keyboard gets a little sticky.
No, but it wasn't even.
You don't use the word thousand.
You don't use the word thousand. But like today, I can pull it up and it says 1,000 because they got called out on it. That to me is a misleading thing. They made it seem like, man, the people were lined up in the streets like drooling, Connor, to get after this new Sixers proposal and saying it was terrible.
Yeah.
I got into it with this guy giving me crap yesterday about my opinion online about it, who actually was there covering the event. And I said, let's just have objectivity. I said, I'm not on board yet. I think traffic is going to be miserable. And I think more importantly, I don't believe any of the projections from the Sixers or otherwise. I don't believe anyone that tells me, oh yeah, like 60% of the people will take public transportation to go to a game. Bull crap. That's never happening. I'd wager my entire 401k on it. That's never happening. If you had a sold out arena, you're not doing that.
Yeah. Well, objectivity is a tougher thing, it seems, day by day to come by. I mean, when social media controls so much narrative now and you have so many people with voices that are accessible by the general public, it's not just the reporting. It's easy. I don't know, 30 years ago, not easy, not to like demean the difficulty of the job, but it was easier when the source of news was just what you read in the paper, what you saw on the news, as opposed to everybody in the neighborhood's thoughts online to figure out what's objective. But there's just so much information out there. Disinformation is more prevalent.
Well, this guy said yesterday, he goes, it's overwhelmingly against it. I said to him online, and this is one of the guys covering the event and contributing to the coverage for CBS Sports. And I said, where's your data on this? Show me. Well, here it is. We did a survey. I said, bull crap. You know what a survey is.
All right. Well,
I can do a survey and then claim that I know what everybody thinks about it, and I could decide who gets the survey, how many people get the survey, what percentage of people I choose to then extrapolate out to believe that they know what everybody wants. I believe this is a very volatile issue, but I believe it close to 50-50.
All right, where's the 50 that are for it? Is like just defending, say, the journalists here. The people that are against it have been very boisterous. They have been, and they've been all over the place, from city council to people that live down there to others that run businesses in the city. They've all been out there. They've all talked about it. You have hundreds of people wanting to talk to the press about it. Who's for it?
Well, I would say
where are the people that are for it besides Edelman and company? Besides the builders and all, where are the people in this city speaking out that are for it?
Well, I would say that in the market research, if you would just use market research, I would bet right now if we took 10 calls on it, just for instance, 10 of our listeners who are maybe never going to go to a march, but they go to 5 or 6 Sixers games a year, maybe 4, I bet you we would probably find 6-4 or 5-5 in the breakdown of callers.
Yeah.
The people that are interested in it. When I know Best Show Ever's done a few of these shows where they've done all day, and it ends up like almost halfway, like you're hearing both sides of the issue. I believe a lot of people are on the fence and say, I need more information. I need more information before I would say go forward or be thumbs down on it.
Right. But my point just being when someone says, and I'm not defending whoever you were going back and forth with or whatever.
I don't know who. I don't mean to be
Yeah, no, my point being, he's heard, or he or she has heard overwhelmingly from people opposed to it. Overwhelmingly. We've seen protests, all the things that I mentioned before. Where are all the people that are for it?
I mean,
so therefore,
the people who are for it are going to have.
So what I'm saying is, you can only go by what you hear, see, have responded to.
Right.
I haven't seen a whole bunch of protests, people saying, please, let's do it. I haven't seen a whole bunch of people interviewed about it that have said, yeah, this is good. So therefore, there's where his overwhelmingly quote, I guess, is coming from.
Well, the march is not going to be for a project like this. There's not going to be a march of support.
Right, exactly. When was
march
the last time you saw
protest march? That's what they are.
That's why they're calling it overwhelmingly.
Yeah, well, when was the last time you saw someone with picket signs outside of a business that were like, this business is amazing? Everybody come
let me
work
ask you
here,
guys,
shop here.
How many stories have you seen from people coming out besides Edelman and company that have said they're for it?
Because I don't think they're letting it. I'm looking at the Enquirer's coverage. It has been completely slanted. There has even been coverage, and I love, I think she does a fantastic job covering the Phillies. And watching the story that was written the other day, they literally go, Philadelphia deserves a WNBA franchise, and the Sixers management should pay for it. I've never seen and I said it that day when Alex wrote the piece. I've never seen a column like that in my life. The Philadelphia deserves to have a WNBA team, and the Sixers should be the one to pay for it. I can't even get over that coverage. I've never seen anything like that. We need a sports franchise, and they should pay for it. Why? I mean, I've said it before, and I've made the case very well. The WNBA is a black hole of losing money. Why should the Sixers owners be lined up to do that? I mean, there is absolutely no balance from the largest newspaper in town on this story, and all you got to do is just go Google it. Sixers new arena, Philadelphia Inquirer coverage, and you can read everything since it was announced, and you can see there is an agenda. I don't know what the agenda could be. Or it's that thing, Bob. They're looking for the low-hanging fruit.
There.
It's there. I can read it. I can read it online. It's there.
Okay, so when Edelman and group came out and said that they wanted to propose this, we saw all the stories. We had the Sixers and all that stuff. Now, since then, there's been numerous protests against it and people saying why it shouldn't happen. who do you go back to? Edelman again and say, okay, why is this good? And they repeat.
No,
these are just the stories that are presented to you right now.
I think what you do is you say, these people are claiming this, and this is what the reality is. They're claiming that this will destroy an urban area. Where the
Who's
NBA,
claiming it?
That is what
Who's claiming it, though?
The protesters are claiming this.
Right, so that's the story that you write.
And what I would say, no, the story that I would then write is, if I'm being responsible, the way I was taught would be to go, well, let's see how many NBA cities have gone through this same thing, and by the way, face the same protests, the same type of, it'll destroy it, don't put it here, that have ended up with great success and have created economic viability.
I don't know about other
Washington, they fought it terribly.
Did they?
When Washington was going in downtown, there was terrible about where they were putting it. It was more about where it was going to be located, where they put it. When they fight in these downtowns to have there's always going to be people who are going to be displaced, who are going to be bothered by it. Traffic's going to hurt them. But at some point, there just needs to, you got to write a story from both sides. You can't go in with there's only one bad, and beat them over the head with it. You got to come with they're claiming it's going to destroy a community. Has that been the case when the NBA's gone into the cities? I don't believe it's been that is the case.
Listen, I've never seen anything like this when it comes to the Philadelphia sports scene. I haven't seen like relocations of stadiums or anything like that. Even when they
were going to do the Phillies, you were around for that.
A little bit, dude. I was like
much of that.
6.
Really? 7 years ago, 4. Yeah, I guess
it was
so.
That was 1998 when they fought the.
Sorry, I was 4 years old.
When they were
just
fighting
moved here from
Chinatown. Weren't they going to put it, Bob, up more like?
It was going to be near the Daily
Vine?
News. Yeah, it was
like
going to be
right there, right?
Yeah, right around Broad and Vine.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is news to me. I just have to imagine when I look at it, talking about the negatives. I understand that there are potential positives of the stadium. But if I'm somebody living in the neighborhood or if I'm somebody in the surrounding area, someone not associated with the Sixers, because let's remember, the Sixers organization, the people who are a part of this project, are largely outweighed by the general population of Philadelphia. I just imagine that there's a lot more negatives to be found from a new building coming up and a change. Like, people are always naturally more inclined for things to stay the same. Change makes people uncomfortable a lot of times, and I think that leads to there being a lot more negative feeling naturally about it, whether that's right or wrong. And maybe the fact that that's just the overarching narrative from people these reporters are talking to is what's driving the fact that it seems slanted.
And if you are a owner of property in that area, business owner, or you own a home, your vote and your opinion should matter much more than mine. If you just rent there or you just committed, your opinion should matter no more than mine, because you can go live somewhere else. If you don't like it, go live somewhere else. Go rent somewhere else.
Yeah,
but if you own a building or you own a business, I'll listen to you. And I'll listen to you and objectively go, okay, your opinion really matters because this affects your life, your property, your livelihood.
Yeah, I don't care about Jimmy in the apartment building.
Right, Jimmy in the apartment building can move.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
rent
move
somewhere else. I mean, but the homeowners, business owners, you're right.
I care about them. All right, coming up, Aaron Nola. Wow. He's doing Aaron Nola type things. Again, John Kincade Show.
97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
The law offices of Glen S. Barry want you to know if you're injured in an accident from big to small, call 855 Law for the personal attention you deserve. You're going to pay nothing unless they recover money for you. I am doing super hydration, getting ready for Wednesday, the first chemo, and I feel like have you ever tried one of those liquid IVs, Bob? They're like a Gatorade, but they're under a bunch of different brand names. But it's a liquid IV. There's actually this company, and the doctor sent us a bunch of them, so I've got them at the house to help. Think of a Gatorade that's a little more salty, which to me repulses me.
Salty or sugary?
Salty.
Oh no, it's more salty.
Well, you need the salinity to cause your body to.
Yeah, it's like an online saline drip. Connor, I take it you've done one of these before.
Oh, Johnny, you know what my weekends are like. I've needed one of those before.
Do you chug it or do you sip it?
I chug it.
You chug it?
Yes.
Because Christina's saying to me, I don't think you should be, I don't like the taste that much. And this is fruit punch. The one that I'm taking is a fruit punch. I don't really dig the taste. I don't tend to drink Gatorade or anything like that. So I don't tend to like the taste, and it's a little salty for me. So I'm chugging it more, getting it down in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're not drinking it for taste. It doesn't taste amazing, but it's not like terrible. It's just
not terrible.
It's a little bit salty. That's kind of
but
weird.
I just, and all the water and everything. It's just there may be some other ideas people have. Now you use them as a recovery from Saturday night before softball? Friday
night, Saturday night, any night that ends in Y that might go a little haywire. Yes, I use them every once in a while.
So what is this? I've never even heard of it.
It's like a bottle this big. I'll bring one tomorrow.
Okay.
It's like this big, and it would be like a serving of Gatorade.
Okay.
But it's called like liquid IV.
Yeah, they also have the little
There's
tubes
all different brands
with like crystals or like powder in it that you can just pour into a glass of water and just stir it up. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I told you the story when I was dehydrated I got dehydrated really badly out in Las Vegas one time.
Okay.
Because I went for a run like my first day there, and I just kept going because it felt so good and I wasn't sweating or anything. Then I started to get really badly dehydrated that night. I went to the Sixers trainer and told him, like, what should I do? And he gave me something to put in either Gatorade or water or whatever. So I guess it was the powder version
same type of thing
of what
that
you're talking about. Yeah.
And it's supposed to give you this jolt so you don't get dehydrated with all that.
Listen, Johnny, the super hydrating is cool and all, but I saw a tweet from you this weekend that
what?
Oh, some pizza that looked pretty darn good. Can you report back? Is it as good as everyone says it is?
It was unfreaking believable.
It looked good.
Pizza.
Where'd you get it from?
Pizza Westchester. It's called Pizza Westchester, so lead with the pizza. And I was in there Friday night early because once they have a certain amount of dough to make pizzas, and when they're done for the day, the fresh dough, it's done.
Can't make pizza without the dough.
They closed the door. The doors were closed by 7:20 on Friday night.
Wow.
Like they're already pizza. There's a 2 pizza maximum on Friday nights.
What are we, pizza rationing here?
No, because they have so many people who want it. They don't want one guy to come in and buy 6 and then nobody gets served.
They still get the money and the demand goes up. That seems like good economics to me.
They're doing 2. They do a 2 pizza maximum Friday and Saturday nights. It was arguably the best pizza I've ever had.
Wow.
It was that good.
That's next level compliment.
They have plain and pepperoni. Plain, $20 cash. And it was ridiculously good. And it was even really just as good the second day.
I think I want to get one of those little pizza ovens.
The ones, do you keep them? Do you mean the ones that are outside?
They're like $300. No, they're only about,
I've seen them.
That you can make an individual pizza on or whatever.
They call it like Yodi's or something?
Yeah, something
they
like
have a
that.
name.
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to get me one of them.
I bet you'd be good on it.
I want to put it out back and have fun with that. What are you thinking, Connor? It's like $300, I think. I think I saw it for like $299.
Sounds like a good investment if you use it enough by the pool, getting in there. I would never use it.
No?
I'm going to just order
You wouldn't
my
use
pizza.
it?
No, I'm going to call somewhere and order pizza to go.
The only thing I don't like about the concept is that you have to go. Like, there's no delivery. You got to go in person.
That's how you know it's good.
there
There.
a
Gotta go.
crowd?
Oh, it is. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Bob, it was so wild how many people were out here.
Now, did it
at
just
5 o'clock.
open? I wasn't on
It
Twitter
opened in
at
the
all this
past year.
weekend. Oh, okay.
In the past year, it has opened.
Huh.
And I can tell you, it was one of the most delicious looking. Here's the pizza for those on YouTube that may not have seen it. There it is, Bob. Look at that pie.
Looks like a good pizza.
Crust
Yes.
a little blackened in some
Oh,
places,
yes.
which is perfect. So
Not
you get the
thick,
crunch.
not the thick crust. Really good. It's called Pizza Westchester.
Hey, Bob, order us a pizza
Uni.
real quick.
Uni. That's what it's called. Somebody just Matt Decker. Uni. It's called an uni. You're a little.
Oh, an uni. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. We had we had this conversation this weekend down the shore with my brother-in-law because his wife made us. She had her own dough and her own gravy and stuff, or sauce, whatever you want to
Okay.
sauce. And she made us homemade pizza on Friday before we went out.
How was it?
Oh God, delicious! I think pizza. If you eat, the old conversation of if you could eat one thing every day, what would it be? I think mine's pizza.
No, I want pizza, and the weird thing is that's why we were talking about it on Friday. I was trying to hit out spots because there's some things that I probably won't be doing during chemo. One of them is I was not able to eat anything with tomatoes when I had
No.
chemo last time. Now, I do not know that FU5 is going to do the same to me, but Bob, the taste, for whatever reason, the taste of tomatoes and tomato sauce was metallic.
Well, the taste of tomatoes individually, just by
I
themselves,
love them.
is the grossest thing in the world.
I love them.
Stop it, Cooney. Grow
Horrible.
up.
I
Now,
love them.
when you can make a sauce out of it
No.
or whatever, it's fine.
The minute that I touched,
No.
the minute the tomato sauce would touch, it was like it tasted tinny. If I could use that word, I mean, I don't know if that's the proper word for it, like a metallic taste to it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And I was so concerned that the taste of tomatoes would never come back to me because I love pizza. And I could live on pizza because
Yeah.
there's so many different ways it could be done.
I could do it every day.
I love pizza. I could have it every single day.
I could.
Love it.
Yeah, I might have
And-
to grab some pizza on the way home today now that I'm getting hungry about it.
There you go. See, grab a little pizza. Take care of business there. So good job on Ken. Connor, you had a great one too. I think you had a great tweet this weekend. And sometimes you have your missteps,
Okay.
but you didn't this weekend.
What did I have?
You responded to the Mets post of their new rescue dog.
Yeah.
And when they said, "What should we name him?" And Connor, your answer was,
Choker.
I loved it. I laughed out loud. I was actually drinking one of those things, and I laughed out loud.
Brands need to learn not to let social media name their new things. Animals, buildings, boats, this, that, and the other
Choker.
thing. It's stupid. It's going to end up with you getting clowned the whole time, and someone's going to win the vote that you don't want them to, and then you're just going to have to pick your own name anyway.
Well, thankfully, they didn't do a vote, right?
Yeah, Mets fans could vote.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now,
that
they
there's
didn't
actually a
say
name
that they
yet.
were going to. Yeah, they didn't say they were going to let them answer. That they were going to be the ones who.
Yeah, it might have been a poll. I didn't.
It was
even
a
read,
poll. I
didn't
think.
even read
What
the
should we
article.
name him?
Nah, I just thought
So-
Joker was funny, and I quote tweeted.
I
and
loved
moved
it.
on.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Aaron Nola not being able to put it all together though is just crushing the Phillies' attempts to stabilize. And there's a difference between facing the Detroit Tigers and facing the Dodgers, as we saw. He just can't get this thing figured out. And anybody can tell me anything that they want, and you're entitled to your opinion, but I got to tell you, I still think the idea that he didn't take the Phillies contract offer is weighing on him. I still think it's in his head that he didn't take the money from them, and he's thinking about the money he's losing. He's thinking about, are the Phillies going to come back to him? Because reportedly he wants to be here. From his charity event a little while back, like he wants to be here. This is where he wants to be. The Phillies got to be a lot less likely, Bob, to want him back.
Probably the way this year's gone, but this is it? I don't know. To me, this is Aaron Nola, right? And you described it perfectly when you first came here, John. You were like, he's an up and down guy.
constant roller
That's what
coaster.
it constantly.
This is bad,
When
though.
he's good, he's good. When he's bad, man, it's frustrating as hell. There's a story last week that particularly asked him about, are you thinking about the contract? And of course, he said the right thing of, no, it doesn't weigh on my mind even a little bit. I'm just here to pitch, blah, blah, blah. All good, whatever. He was really good last year, and he was a guy that you really needed in the playoffs last year, and a lot of times he was there for them. But, man, when it's bad, it's really bad.
It really is.
I mean, there's just no other way to put it. he doesn't lose a whole bunch of 3-2 games or anything like that. It seems like when he's going to lose, he'll let you know early. And I don't know. That was that the other night. And it's a shame when you're in the middle of winning 7 out of 9 that he's the guy throwing up the stinker.
And Connor, I know you were bitching about the umpires the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He was absolutely at fault, and he admitted it. He was trying to game the system. And if it was a Met pitcher doing it or a Dodger pitcher doing it, you'd be pissed off. Aaron Nola cannot work the pitch clock. He does not understand how to do it. He hasn't adjusted to it. And Rob Thompson's out there defending him, but they were absolutely wrong. We would be screaming bloody murder if it was another team's pitcher constantly throwing the ball out, trying to reset the pitch clock.
My argument was not that he was not trying to circumvent the rules. Like, I understand what he was trying to do there as far as getting himself more time.
Okay.
My issue is with how umpires handle it. You're not on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Who do you think you are when you put on a Major League Baseball umpire's uniform?
What didn't you like?
The whole gesture to him, what are you doing, this, that, and the other thing. Like, have professionalism. Go talk to him. Walk out to the mound.
I thought they had already said something.
I don't believe he'd been warned to that point.
Not warned. No, he didn't get an official warning. You are correct. But they had said something to him.
It's the thing, though. Like, you can't, as an umpire, you're supposed to be the person who lets the game be played out the right way. Like, you're supposed to be the voice of reason. He's trying to play
it. The umpire wanted it to be played the right way. Stop cheating the system. Aaron Nola, you're being mentally soft. You can't handle it. Play the game the right way.
I understand, but as an official, part of your job is to try and be professional at all times. And when a player in the heat of the game is letting their emotions get the best of them, you as a third party without a dog in the fight is supposed to be able to keep cool and say, hey, I already warned you once. This is your official warning. You can't keep throwing balls out or we're going to have to assess you.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you because this year, to an extent, this year you have to pound home the rules. This is how it's going to go. And we've seen it before when rule changes are made that multiple flags and, all of a sudden this is happening, whatever. So this year they're going to pound it home. I agree with you on that. However, there has to be some kind of a leniency. Like yesterday I'm driving and I guess Bryce Harper got on base and Larry Anderson was going nuts on the radio because they wouldn't allow him to put on his arm guard. Like he couldn't say, can I hold up 1 second? Can I put this on? No. If he didn't get it on in the time frame,
because
that was
of the pitch clock. They harp on that over and over again.
Yeah. There has to be some leniency in places.
But that's not on the umpire. That's not on the individual umpire. That's on Major League Baseball and their mandates for it.
But this guy's gaming the system purposely.
And he shouldn't be able to do that. By the way,
Zach Wheeler doesn't need to do this. Every other pitcher on the Phillies staff doesn't need to do this. And by the way, too, we have not had this pitch clock has gone seamlessly in Major League Baseball. Seems like, remember how this was going to be a big issue? It has been almost a non-issue completely in baseball.
Totally get it. You're right. So let's take James Harden, for example. He doesn't need to complain.
He doesn't play baseball. I understand.
Give me a second, Bobby.
All right, whatever.
He doesn't need to complain every single time he gets breathed on that he's getting fouled. But he does. There are other players on the team that don't do that. But what you don't see is a guy like Tony Brothers like yelling in James Harden's face about how much he's flopping. Like they'll have conversations with him, but the right way to handle it is, hey, I'm not going to give you that call just because you're yelling for it. We'll have a conversation, a timeout, this, that, and the other thing. I thought the ump was trying to show him up. I think it's something that Major League umpires do far too often because they feel they need to be more of a part of the game than they're supposed to be, and that bothers me.
Well, you thought he was trying to show him up.
Yes.
So before every NBA season, we will have a meeting with one of the heads of the officials.
Okay.
And they will talk to us about points of interest this year. This year, the point of interest is players, when they shoot threes, kicking their foot out. We're going to be keeping an eye on that is no longer a foul on the defender. It's an offensive foul.
Okay.
All of these different things. I would assume that if Major League umpires do the same, meet with media and players, that their point of interest is this. And it has been mentioned, don't try to doctor the system. Don't try to throw balls out and delay time. The time is the time. You need to adhere to it. So I don't think this is all unwritten rules that he's breaking. I think it's laid out there pretty well for Nola, and he's trying to buck the system.
Yeah, I mean, that's
and
what
therefore, that's why the umpire maybe got pissed off a little bit too
it's
quickly.
your job to enforce the rules. You're getting frustrated for doing your job. Like, what, are you going to get annoyed that you have to call balls and strikes next? Like, just handle it with professionalism. What are you losing by having the conversation with him instead of, like, shrugging your hands up and tossing?
Do we know it hadn't been had?
And more importantly, Nola's the one who's not being professional.
Right. So
He's
what you
cheating the system.
So assess a pitch clock violation. Like, that's the thing. You don't need the extra.
No, but I don't think they're allowed to when he asks for the ball out. They're not allowed to assess a pitch clock
then it's
violation.
not a violation.
I hear what you're
they're
saying,
telling him
Connor.
stop doing it.
I'm just saying, just make the call. You don't have to do anything more than just make the call.
If you watch an NBA game closely and you see a player go up to a ref, okay, and talk to him, say a foul shot's being shot,
okay,
and somebody goes, the referee 9 times out of 10, the stance he'll take is arm folded over his chest and one hand like by
yeah, I've
his
seen
mouth
that.
talking.
Like usually behind
Basically
the
saying,
foul line.
Yeah.
Back.
Okay, maybe I missed that one, or shut your mouth if you keep talking to me. I'm gonna. But they'll hide it like that. I don't know if the umpire, because he has a mask on, wasn't yelling out to Nola or telling Real Muto or Stubbs yesterday it was Real Muto on Saturday. Hey, tell your pitcher to stop doing it. It's got to stop. No more. I don't know that conversation was had that led up to the part
and the
of
third base ump was given some counsel supposedly. And come on, that's enough of this. So it's just, and plus, he's not defensible. Aaron Nola's not defensible. He is mentally fragile. He's just mentally, he crumbles.
Yeah, listen.
For whatever reason.
My job is not here. I'm not trying to defend Aaron Nola. I just don't think it was handled well, regardless of who the pitcher was or what the violation. I felt there was an umpire getting too emotionally invested in what was going on in the game, and that is not their place.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand that part of it. What about Trey Turner? Bobby, I mean, it seems like Trey Turner's maybe flicked a light switch a little bit.
It certainly seems like, and he came out and said it. It was a small adjustment that he made, and it's been done. My first thought was, okay, if it was a small adjustment, what the hell took so long? But he is fun to watch at bat now. And have you noticed now that he's hitting better, Connor? I was thinking of you yesterday when I was watching this. Now that he's swinging the bat better, it seems like he's faster on the base pass too. All of a sudden, he's stealing more. He's taking an extra base here easily. Running more, and even on 2 strike counts. I just think that that switch was flicked, and I think we're going to see just and Tim Kirkjian, when he was here last week, he said it with such confidence. I'm telling you, I've rarely had an interview that stuck with me as much as Tim did when he came in. But
Tim does a great job.
He just said, as a matter of factly, oh, yeah, he'll be fine. He's going to hit around 300.
Yeah, I've mentioned it twice on the podcast already.
Is that right?
I can't stop thinking about it either.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, no problem.
Because I disagree with Tim on that. Now, Tim will probably end up being right. I do not think he's going to bat 300.
Yeah, we went over it. I don't know if you were here, John, but we talked about what we thought he would hit, and we all came.
I think like 285. If you sent me 285 to 290, I would be in that range right now.
I think that's all where we were. Now, 290, you can say he was close to a 300 hitter. And
right.
But, man, the way Kirkjian said it, though, he was just matter. And this is a baseball dude, like the baseball of baseballiest dudes, comes out and says,
what?
As a matter of factly, like, he'll hit 300. I was shocked by that.
The baseball of baseballiest dudes.
Yeah, that's what he is.
That should be on his. That should be on his business card.
It might be. He may have given me his card.
There and
Let's go down, find Jeff.
Yeah,
and we'll get that for his dad. The baseball of baseballiest dudes.
Yeah, he is.
That's a high compliment.
It is. I don't throw that out there all that much, John.
We are 90
you
days.
You can see why.
We are 90 days today from the Eagles opener. 90 days away from Eagles football. Connor, what is wrong with being 90 days out? You don't tend to like the numbers.
No. I don't know, man.
Connor, you're still going to get all your weekends at the beach. It doesn't make them go away.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't make your summer go away.
I'm focused on those. You look too far
but that
forward.
doesn't make it. It doesn't. This is what affects us. Your weekends at the beach don't affect us doing a sports radio show.
It depends what I do. I give us good content when I go down to the beach, and I take like a picture that you guys make fun of. So, hey, it all plays in.
Did you go down this weekend?
No, I didn't.
Because you could have crossed paths with my son that you don't think exists.
He doesn't.
I sent you a picture.
You photoshopped it. It's a deep fake.
Yesterday, we had all 4 kids under the roof for the first time, and I don't know how long, this weekend, which was awesome. So last night, we wanted to get a picture of them.
Okay.
So we take a picture of the 4 kids and all, and then they're about to go back into the house. I'm like, wait, Kyle, come here. Connor, who I work with, doesn't think you exist.
Correct.
And he was so baffled by it, he didn't even ask why. So I got a picture. Donna took a picture of us. I sent it to Connor, and he said, yeah, Photoshop.
And Connor's on his,
I think Connor's a little bit jealous.
I think he may be on it. Kyle's on his way home.
No, listen, I'm not jealous at all. Here's the way I view it. You talk Kyle up all this much, and you love Kyle. He's the man, and
favorite kid.
No, I'm not saying that, but he talks about, because Kyle and I play sports, we're a similar age and everything like that. I feel like Kyle and I would get along great because I get along great with Bob.
He played D1.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
he was in Keenan's this weekend.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Love Keenan's.
I mean, D1, he may not have crossed paths with you as a D3 guy.
All right, well, we don't need to make it all that. Bottom line is I feel like I'd be good friends with Kyle if I was to run into him, and Bob is gatekeeping Kyle. He doesn't want him to hang out.
Bob wants Kyle to himself.
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep saying he doesn't exist until I meet him in person.
We are 75 days away to FanFest 2023.
Love it.
And Ray Dunn is going to have some passes to give away to you right now for 3 different people. You can get a pair of tickets at 215-263-0975, 97.5 The Fanatic, FanFest 2023 with FanDuel Sportsbook, Saturday, August 26th, 11 to 5, Xfinity Live, the 10th anniversary. We're going to have a fantastic day for you. And Ray Schwimmer's going to be there. And then the major... I think you could say the major opening act. I mean, he's the opening act. Ray Schwimmer's the opening act. And then we will see when we announce the major act. I think people are going to be quite... My 19-year-old gave it high praise.
It's me on the kazoo. Oh,
I don't think that's the case.
Was I not supposed to say that?
It's a free event. You have to win tickets or grab tickets via an online ticket raid. But Ray Dunn's going to give away 3 pairs right now at 215-263-0975.
Do it, Ray. I might give out a couple pair later on.
Bob's just going to willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You weren't here Friday. You didn't give it away on Friday.
Yeah.
So there you weren't. You weren't here.
No.
He did tell Kyle that Kyle can come.
If he existed, that would be great.
What comes first, FanFest or the opening of I-95?
Oh, I already told you.
Yeah,
the opening of I-95.
I'll take FanFest.
Opening of I-95.
So here's
that's the great thing. If we did stupid, poll questions, that would be one. Will I-95 reopen before FanFest? I say with an emphatic yes. Yes.
I hope you're right.
It will. Come on. Pete Buttigieg is on it. I mean, it's going to be fixed. It's going to be all fixed. Don't worry about it. We have a major announcement coming up. How about at 8 o'clock today? Major announcement. Your chance to hang out with us more. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. When you hear the word